What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, it's Lions Talk Live. It's a Friday morning show edition, and you know what? Hey, we're back on the air during the morning. As most of you are aware, we had a little bit of an IT problem yesterday. Got that all figured out. Had to drop a big elbow on the tower and get things figured out. But let's talk about the Detroit Lions this morning. Hey, we're going to do something a little bit different with the main topic of the day. I spent some time reaching out yesterday, trying to pull up articles, just get different information, not from a Detroit perspective on how the Lions are looking, but yes, from a Miami perspective. Got some information from different reporters. Actually got a hold of somebody for the Miami Herald, talked to them, got some of their notes. They didn't mind sharing some stuff, so I'm going to share it all with you. Again, keep this in mind when we refer to it. Sometimes it won't always refer who they're talking about with the Detroit Lions. We're going to have to kind of Scooby-Doo it, but this is all from a Miami perspective. I'm going to say this. It would appear everybody watching who's not from Detroit is pretty impressed with the Detroit Lions, maybe even a little upset. So anyways, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into 5 headlines now. We're going to have Professor Steele at the halfway point of the show. In case you're watching it, tape delay or whatever, halfway through the show. So before we get in all that, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 40 subs away from hitting 14,200. So if you can help out with that, I surely would be thankful. Also, if you have a half second of time, it won't cost you even a dime. Reach on down, left, up, right, center of the screen, whatever it may be on your particular device. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last, but most certainly never least, in case you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Give me a call, shoot me a text, throw a carrier pigeon my way, send smoke signals. Whatever you got to do, get a hold of me. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. If you want somebody who's going to watchdog out for you, make sure nobody's working you, overcharging you, trying to cover something up. I'll do the best I can. Obviously, having done this for a long time. So give me a call or shoot me a text. Let's have a conversation, see what I can do to try to help you on out. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get this show rocking and rolling and going and kicking off with 5 headlines now. Oh, it's good to have headlines. It's good to have another preseason game just around the corner. Preseason game number 3 is almost here. And I think we all get what happened just a couple weeks after that. We get real football. All right, Lions sign all UFL offensive linemen and former Bengals cornerback. Send 2 more players to season-ending surgery. A to Z Sports story by Mike Payton. Again, it's training camp. You're always going to have injuries. Anybody who's in the NFL, every team's going to have this. But the Lions are no big surprise here. Got a couple more people hurt. Let's see. Cornerback DiCaprio Battle and offensive lineman Keaton Sutherland will be cut or out for the rest of the season. Both relatively new Lions. Both went down with injuries on Wednesday. So I don't know how many that makes it for the year. I want to say 7 players out for the year already for Lions. Thankfully, nobody outside of maybe Levi Onwuzurike and Enos Rakestraw at this point, I would say, were really highly sought after or counted on this year. In their place, the Lions have brought in offensive lineman Zach Johnson, former all-UFL lineman. Did not play in the UFL this season, but played with the Birmingham Stallions last year and helped them win the UFL championship. Johnson also spent time with the Packers, Cardinals, Broncos, Ravens, Titans, Browns, and 49ers. He was waived by the 49ers last week. He played in just one regular season game for the Titans and has been mostly a practice squad guy across the board. Lions also signed cornerback Alan George, the former Vanderbilt cornerback, spent 2 seasons with the Bengals practice squads and played 4 regular seasons games for them. He was signed with the Commanders as a futures deal right after the season and then was released last week. So Lions going through some injuries, always looking for some, camp bodies to fill in. Do I think either one of these guys have an opportunity to make it? An opportunity, yes. Will they more than likely make the 53-man roster? I'd say the odds are against them, but at least the Lions are keeping some rotational bodies on the field and trying to take some snaps off some of the bigger guns out there. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Lions players get into another heated fight at practice. The heavy story by Ann Erickson. It wouldn't be training camp. It wouldn't be an MCDC training camp if we didn't have fights with opposing teams we have joint workouts with. You all know that the first practice of these 2 teams, Miami and Detroit, there was a bunch of different fights. In fact, the practice ended with a fight. Well, yesterday, no big difference. You had a couple people get after it, people talking about people's mamas, and you know what happens? A punch are thrown. Detroit Lions wide receivers get into a tiff again with former teammate. And this time, you know that the final fight of day 1 of practice was with Ife Melifonwu and Jameson Williams. Well, Ife got picked on again, and apparently he took umbrage with it. Talked to a couple different Detroit Lions players, and you guys get at this point, every time we have a joint practice with somebody's going to get upset. The Lions like to play a very physical style, offensively and defensively. And if you're not used to that, you're going to get into your feelings. Ife Melifonwu, who's been here for a while, should understand that. But you know what? It's probably not always fun seeing your best friend run by you for yet another touchdown. After 3 or 4 of those, it probably gets old. Ife Melifonwu is trying to make a name for himself, not in Detroit, but in Miami, trying to earn some snaps, trying to keep his NFL career going. Remember, he only signed a short-term deal with the Phins, and because of that, he's probably feeling some sort of stress or pressure playing against his former team. The other aspect of that is Jameson Williams apparently roasted him early and often, day 1 and day 2. And J-Mo did have some words for Ife. I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm guessing it was kind of just playful banter, but your playful banter might be hateful words to somebody else. And apparently, yes, another brawl or 2 or 3 broke out yesterday. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the first fight. We did also have a fight between Isaiah Smalls the second, and Barry Jackson. A lot of different people reported on that, including the Miami reporters I talked to. We'll talk about that during the main topic of the day. So we'll get to that momentarily. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. 3 NFL teams facing Super Bowl or bust expectations in 2025. NBC News, Adam Gretz with this one. And yeah, if you didn't figure it out, let me give you a spoiler alert. The Detroit Lions are on this list, which is why we're talking about it. First one on the list is the Buffalo Bills. Hey, this team's been a Super Bowl level team for years. I think you guys appreciate that. I appreciate that. For whatever reason, they just keep being on the wrong side of things. And because of it, you know what? Their Super Bowl window may be closing sooner than thought. They've got a great quarterback, who can move the ball at will, legs, arms, whatever, dual threat. You guys know Josh Allen is pretty dang good. But the team around him is starting to show some signs of age. That's why they probably need to get on it pretty quick here. Baltimore Ravens is the next on this particular list, sort of a ditto copy of the Buffalo Bills. Lamar Jackson, he's got a team around him, great team around him, just hasn't had a lot of postseason success. Some of that's because he keeps running into, the Bills. Some of it's because he runs in the Kansas City Chiefs. However you want to word it, slice it. Let's face it, at the end of the day, you can be a great player. You can be Charles Barkley, but if you don't win a championship, people are going to put you down a peg or two. The Ravens, we'll see what happens to them this year, but both them and the Bills are on this list. And then, of course, the last one, which is why we are interested in it, Detroit Lions. The pressure is on the Lions isn't quite the same as the Bills or the Ravens, mainly because they are a relatively new contender in the NFL. The story goes on to point out the youth of the Lions were probably aiding them for the next few years to be relevant in the National Football League. I would agree with that. The Lions keep drafting incredibly well, so you keep having more and more young, fresh bodies, talented players emerge on the roster. That's going to probably keep their Super Bowl window open for a while, and we'll be talking about this, let's face it, all throughout the year. They went 15-2 last year. Lost in the postseason the year before. You guys all know it, man. They made it to the NFC title game. Expectations are high for this franchise. That being said, on Rich Eisen's show, I want to say it was yesterday. I don't know the name of the gentleman. He was on there talking about it, I think, on a radio interview or a phone interview. Had the Lions not even making the postseason. Had them finishing at 7-10. There are some out there suggesting because the Lions' schedule is so egregiously over the top tough that the Lions could struggle to make the playoffs. I personally think they're still going to win the NFC North. One thing I didn't think that individual considered is the Lions, 90-95% of their schedule, their non-divisional schedule, is the same for the Chicago Bears, for the Minnesota Vikings, and Green Bay Packers. So if the Lions are going to struggle to beat some of those teams, guess what? So is the rest of the division. At least that would be my huge opinion. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments section if you would be so kind. All right, Jared Goff eager for Lions to have Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery in the backfield together, Michael David Smith, Pro Football Talk. And I think if you're getting one thing from, I don't care who the reporter is, which team they cover, they're all talking about the same thing. The Lions are showing that a little bit, and it's tough for the Dolphins to guard. We talked about after day one, different reports from people at the field, people watching the practices. If you put a linebacker in assignment or too many on the field, then Gibbs was getting motioned out, and those backers, there just isn't a guy probably in the NFL, maybe one or two across the entire NFL who can have any kind of hope of defending Gibbs if he's out there in a wide receiver role as a linebacker defending him. Safety, same thing. So it's causing a bigger and bigger issue for the Dolphins. They're trying to figure out how to defend it, and it's just not an easy answer. If both those guys, or Baki and Gibbs, or whatever combination out there, Lions are going to take advantage of it. They're going to run it at you, knowing they have the weight or the mass advantage, or they're going to flex somebody out. That's where I think Baki will really shine and maybe make his first real impression on the fan base, is him and Gibbs are similar in that way. Plus, you start thinking about if he gets flexed out or Baki gets flexed out, I'm not so sure it'd be as impactful Montgomery. No disrespect for David Montgomery. I just don't know if that's as noticeable with him as the other guys mentioned. But with that being said, if you already got Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, St. Brown, maybe Tesla out there, and now all of a sudden you have to guard Gibbs as a receiver, man, you better have some real good ability to get to that quarterback. Otherwise, Goff's probably going to dial you up. Goff likes it. I get it why. And plus, from the running back perspective, if these guys run routes out wide, you have to guard both sidelines because, you know what? Hey, you got someone lead blocking. You got three linebackers out there. They better be able to flow in pursuit. The other part is I do suspect for a pass coverage responsibility, if they both are kept in and not flexed out or chipped out or, released into the flats or something like that, I do think they're going to be able to block and give Goff a little bit more time to throw the ball deeper downfield if that's what they desire. All right, last of the five headlines out. Detroit Lions predicted to cut ties with promising 2025 draft pick. The Sporting News, Darius Sharma with this one. If you would have asked me a week ago, I'd have said this is probably not very likely. But this rookie just missed like a week and a half, so it is possible. The story is centered around Dominic Lovett, and do I think he's going to make the team? I think he's got a chance. But the other part of that is you've had Ronnie Bell, you've had Meeks, you've had a bunch of these wide receivers really jump forward and just make some plays. And it is the preseason. I get they're out there against 2s and 3s. But Lovick, man, he's got stuff you can't teach, and you guys don't know, man. That is just game-changing speed. I don't know if he's J-Mo or Gibbs fast, but you know what? If both of them are 11s out of 10, he's a 10.5 out of 11, or however I'm trying to word that. You guys get it. He's just a slightly not as fast as both those guys, but you're still talking about game-changing speed. He has missed a bunch of time, so I think he did return to practice yesterday. He's going to have to really put in some real serious work. Hopefully he can get on the field Saturday, although I would think since he's missed so much time this week, that's probably not incredibly likely. But that puts it all down to, hey, what does he do the final preseason game? It's going to be a battle to be one of the 5 or 6 wide receivers on this team. Could he be it? I don't know. I think with the emergence of some of the other guys in these past preseason games, it's going to put a lot of stress and pressure on each of them to have an opportunity to make the final cut. All right, all that done, said all the way. Let's get this show on over to the main top of the day and see what some of the Miami people had to say. All right, you got about 15 minutes until we get the Professor Steele on here. And again, I just wanted to try to do something different. I feel like a lot of the channels I notice when I have time off, especially when the computer doesn't work yesterday, I try to see, hey, how are people handling things? Is there anything I can incorporate into the show? And I do see a lot of the similar topics, so I try to find different things for you guys. So let's not spend all day with this. Let's just dive into it. So the first one I'm going to be referencing here is from the Palm Beach Post. If you guys don't know them, don't go down to Miami. They are one of the prominent ones. They're probably up there with like the Miami Herald as far as more prominent. Tom D'Angelo, he's been there for, I want to say, over 20 years. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds right. So he knows football. He's covered this team. He's covered other NFL teams as well, plus college football. We're talking about just watching it, as he puts it as the pure body language. You can see the impact the Lions play has made on Miami. It was clear day one, as he puts it, the Miami Dolphins just weren't ready to play against someone like the Detroit Lions. Credits how talented and well organized the Lions are. They're not out there trying to negotiate things. Hey, what do I do on this play? What do I do on that play? He says they look pretty dang crisp and clean. Where the Miami Dolphins, that wasn't the case so much. Day two, he did put up there that, hey, Miami looked better initially in practice, but then kind of got ran over. Let's start with this one from him. Dolphins defense rise up in 2-minute drill. The Miami defense held the Lions out of the end zone during the first 2-minute drill, stopping them at the Miami 19-yard line. Meanwhile, the Miami offense went 4 and out in it during both of its series during the 2-minute drill. So then goes on to talking about talking trash. Offensive tackle, left tackle, Patrick Paul was talking trash to the fans while watching Tua Tagovailoa throw a touchdown pass during an early portion of practice. Problem with that, as he says, is this kind of fired up some of the Lions players. Tua probably went on to regret talking some trash, as did Paul. But with that being said, the Lions defense, they rose to the challenge. Again, he pointed out early in practice, Lions maybe weren't as awake yet, or maybe that just Miami came out but then kind of lost its steam. Because after that trash talking, David Montgomery broke off a big run, and Sion Vaki scored on a 5-yard run. Montgomery and Miami Dolphins safety Micah Fitzpatrick also met head on, but both players appeared to be okay. Montgomery went and trucked Fitzpatrick, ran him over. Fitzpatrick took a moment or two to regain himself, but then did return to the joint practice. Talked about a couple of different, Miami Dolphins players who got sidelined during the day. Lions physical play showed up, as he says, over and over again, leaving a lot of Miami players over on the sideline seeking medical attention. Again, what do the Lions do? They like to pound the ball. MCDC likes to get after people. Both sides of the field goes after it. All right, now he talks about, Jalen Wright, running back for the Phins, had one nice run during 11-11 in drills. Then the Detroit defense made some adjustments, shut him down, struggled to find daylight after that. Lions quarterback Jared Goff answers back with back-to-back touchdown passes to Jameson Williams. Goff and Williams hooked up on deep touchdown passes from midfield, beating defensive back Ife Melifanu and Kendall Shutoff. Again, we talked about it when the fights broke out. Yes, we know it happened day one. Well, it happened day two. Why did it happen? Ife Melifanu, most people on planet Earth are going to struggle to keep up with Jameson Williams. We've been hearing all off season that J-Mo, J-Pow, J-Wow, whatever you're going to say, is going to be used more, allowed to go do more as far as the offensive route tree for the passing attack. And part of that is the Lions want to push the ball downfield as well. Well, early in camp, per these reports, Lions went right after Iffy, almost like they were trying to send a statement. Hey, you chose not to be here anymore? Well, here's what you got to deal with. And yeah, J-Mo went after him twice, back-to-back plays or drives, scored long touchdowns on him, and maybe they had some polite banter between each other. Because of that, Iffy got into his feelings again, and maybe wanted to share a few comments with Jameson Williams. We already talked about the fights, probably don't need to talk about it more. I'm not going to talk about any kind of Miami notes he put in there. As far as player development, that's just not really anything for us. But one other thing he did point out that I want to point out here is that he did talk about the Detroit Lions pass rush and how difficult Miami had blocking it. He does not list names. He's not there to cover the Lions. Just said that the Lions ends were quickly able to get to Tua. A couple of Tua's bigger plays would not have happened if this was real football. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit so I can compress it here, but just said that the Tua would have been sacked a whole lot if this was real football. You guys know they're not allowed to hit the quarterback. They're not allowed to take him down to the ground. It's basically two-hand touch out there, and they did get to him, but Tua could still get the throws off because you know what? You're not tackling him. So when you hear stuff like this from Miami reporters, what does it make you think? Well, I can tell you this, that reading through this and some of the other ones, it seems clear that the Lions pass rush is probably deeper than we anticipated. We've all talked about, man, the Lions are gambling a whole lot on Marcus Davenport staying healthy. Well, so far, whether you're a Detroit sports reporter, a content creator, or a Miami one, everybody's saying the same thing. While they may not know his name, if he's out there opposite Hutch, you probably figured out who it is, and he is making plays against the run. He's getting to the quarterback. Hutch, he kind of said the same stuff about him that we've been hearing all training camp. He's got a motor that seems even different than last year. He's out there with something to prove. But it was also relevant that he said it looks like the Detroit Lions as a whole are out there with something to prove. We all get it. The bad taste in the mouth from losing the Washington Commanders last year probably isn't going anywhere anytime soon unless you get through the regular season and then get to the postseason and win. I think that's going to be a galvanizing force throughout the season. You heard St. Brown talk about it, how much that stewed with him. Other veteran Lions players this offseason wanted to try to take some of their workouts to another level, try to assist the team. Well, Miami reporters are saying the same stuff. They're singing out there, the attention to detail, and they did make several comments. Player 1 through player 91 are all looking pretty dang impressive. He didn't really go in a ton with the Lions rookies. Again, that's not his coverage responsibility or some of the other reporters out there, but just about to a person. I looked, they were talking to about 4 different people. They all said the same thing about 2 Detroit Lions rookies, Tesla, Hassanin. And why? Tesla, he said, man, they don't have an answer. The Miami Dolphins, let me rephrase that, do not have an answer with their 3rd or 4th corner trying to pick him up. He's just too big, too fast, too physical. And that's one thing all of them said. When he's out there in the running game, he is mauling people like a tight end, like an offensive lineman. And that's also what led to a couple of choice words being thrown around. A lot of people don't like getting their butt kicked, let alone by a rookie. So, I think we're all going to be pretty dang happy with him. When it comes to Hassanin, they did say while he's a little limited, this Lions rookie is a little limited in some of his abilities or techniques. There's no doubt the motor is there, and he gets there. He did apparently get to some of the backup quarterbacks for the Miami Dolphins making plays, and he was noteworthy with his athleticism. Didn't really say much about Ratledge. I'm looking over the notes. Not really a whole lot about Tyreek Williams or anybody else from the Lions rookie class, but the fact that those 2 are popping out even to non-Lions fans or reporters, I think that speaks volume. All right, we got about 7 minutes until the professor takes us to school, so let's get over to the Duke Crew and see what you guys have to say. I'm looking forward to this game, this next preseason game, because if we are going to show anything, if we are going to play anybody significant snaps, this is probably the one to do it. You guys probably understand. I get it. You get to that final preseason game, and it's just, hey, survive. Just keep people healthy. You're not putting anybody out there worth probably anything. You want to keep them as fresh as you can for the regular season. All right, Michael D. Greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation points, one pride. Woo! Back at you. Johnny L. Great morning, everybody. Same to you. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach and the Duke Crew. What a team. What a great podcast. What a glorious time to be a Lions fan. Exclamation point. Woo! And hey, all the above. Always good to see you there. JDC, morning all. And with you. Bam Bear, good morning. Trey Tipson, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Laughing out loud. Love the thumbnail, Coach. Got me laughing. Hey, sometimes I mess up and do something all right. Professor Steele, what up, though, Duke Crew? Exclamation point. Back at you. Johnny L, so glad we are back. Me too, man. It was different yesterday morning. I mean, I was focused on the tower and trying to figure everything out, but it did change my day a little bit. Big Eddie, I keep reading about how we've been doing in the practices. I'm liking what I'm reading. Me too. And if I get the Lions do a great job media-wise putting out videos for fans or everybody to watch. You watch the separation. You watch what they go through. The accuracy with some of the passes. It's all good stuff. Now, some of that video, I would also point out, it's 1-on-1 drills, 7-on-7 drills. So some of the coverage isn't as great. we talked about a few weeks ago. I remember a bunch was saying, man, Alex Anzalone's out there guarding tight ends, running backs, everybody else out there, and he's not getting there. Well, one-on-one drills, you don't know as the defender where the play is intended to go. You have to just read the body language and respond. That's dang difficult to do one-on-one, especially if you're talking against an all-pro player. Johnny L., good morning, Mr. Steele. And same to you both. Kurt Steele, Johnny, good morning. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. My morning workout just felt different without the show on yesterday. Glad it's back because today is a work day. We'll have a great, safe day at work. Kurt Steele, Big Eddie. Yes, sir. Talking about it with a special guest on the live Boss Up, Ball Out following the show. We'll have to check out who the mystery person is. Stephanie Water, good morning. Bo, good morning. Duke Crew, getting talked about is a sure sign of flattery. Woo! Yeah, and I know I have to compress some things. I encourage you guys, if you have time today, you can check out a lot of the Miami Herald or, any of the other outlets out there. They've got some pretty detailed stuff. Most of them don't know the Lions jersey numbers or player names, so you have to try to figure it out in the nuances there, because they're not there to cover us. They're there to cover the Miami team, and they don't always have the familiarity with us. But when somebody starts jumping out to them, you can see why they start writing about that Lions player, because that player is just standing out that badly, like they were saying with Tesla or Jameson Williams, etc. Chris Steele, Bo Booth, good morning. Johnny L., yesterday with no Lions Talk Live, threw my morning off big time. Sorry about that, my friend. Just greetings, salutations. Miami is getting owned by us. They can't handle it. It does sound like they are struggling a little bit. Bo, Man of Steel, Man of Steve. All right, I'll go with that. Sorry about that. Kurt Steele, Bo Booth, that's my brother's name, and I like Blues Clues. All right, okay. Bo, Kurt, you have a blues brother. Ooh, there you go. Drake, I'm glad Lovett is back. He needs to put in some work or he's gone. Might be accurate, might be indeed. Hogadoo, good morning, Duke Crew. They say Dolphins are very intelligent, but I know of 53 of them that aren't. Grit will win, roar, Detroit. Oh, yeah, I'll go with all the above, man. Johnny, smash those buttons, people. Yes, you would. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all those. Kurt Steele, they played the play-by-extra made in practice. Miami's social media account were bragging about was an incomplete pass. His foot landed out of bounds. It happens, man. Let's see. Jess, I'm over preseason already. Yeah, I think a lot of us are. Get the real games here. Hey, you got, 3 more weeks? No, 3 more weeks until the real games. Something like that. Central Scrutinizer, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! And good to see you. Looks like you're out there surfing, my friend. Enjoy it. Jim, good morning, Duke Crew. Let's hope the 2/3 take it to them tomorrow. Let's do it. The 2s and 3s. How about that? The 2s and 3s take it to tomorrow. Or 2/3 of the team, because that'd be the 2s and 3s. Bo, Dolphins grasping at straws. Exclamation point. Might be true. France, they are grasping at anything they can. It appears we are running right by the boat. Ooh, shots fired. Good morning, Bo, Johnny L, Professor Steele, and all the grit-tastic Duke Crew. And back at you. Hopefully you're having a gritful morning. Kurt Steele, Jim, I saw what I needed to see in joint practice. It's still preseason. The games still don't count. No, they do not count, but you know what? You're getting some reps. You're getting some growth and development for sure. Bo, and I thought Dolphins could swim, France. Maybe not today at least. Anymore, ain't nothing like the preseason drama. Go Lions. I'll concur. Johnny L, Grit Morning, Hookadoo. The Central Shooter Dolphins getting rolled up by the Honolulu Blue tsunami. I'll concur. Hookadoo. Bet you Iffy is saying, I sure wish I was still in Detroit. Wouldn't that be something if he still was? But unfortunately, he's not. Jennifer, good morning, all. And with you, Detroit D, exclamation points. Good morning, Duke Crew. One step closer to the regular season. Man, you ain't wrong there, and we're all chomping at the bit. Good to see you, my friend. Gary, morning. We're going to pound Flipper. We might be, man. Flipper is not getting a new show here. Susan Scott, our offensive defense seemed to be faring very well against Miami. Yeah, and McDaniels, their coach, said the reason why he wanted to practice with the Lions is just to play against an incredibly physical team, to kind of get used to that, adjust to it. So they're getting what they wanted for, or why they signed up for what they wanted by playing us. Troy D, I hope Hooker plays better. Me too, man. I think that would be best for all parties. Bo, feasting on Dolphins safe tuna. Ooh, that's good that it is economically friendly or eco-friendly. 5 Fingers Freddy. Coach, I finally finished your book. Looking forward to reading the next one. Hey, thanks for that. If you liked it, don't be afraid to leave a kind review. Johnny L, this is going to be a great season. I hope so, man. I was surprised by the 7-11 prediction they had on Rich Eisen. France, these fish are landlocked, but we're locking them in. Carrie, I guess Charlie sent us. Might be. Jess, glad the show is back up today. Yes, indeed. Johnny L, haha. All right, guys, it's about that time to bring over the most wise person in all of YouTube land. Let's go bring on Professor Hitman Steel. Professor, how you doing today?
Good morning. What up, Do Crew? Good morning. Glad to talk to you guys.
You know, we're talking about some of the things the Miami reporters are saying. It does sound like they're seeing, according to their views, man, you talk about Tesla jumping out to us, he's jumping out to them. Same with Hassanin. I mean, I get both these rookies have a bit of a social media freight train behind them, but really, this far into training camp, what are your thoughts on them?
Liking what I'm seeing with the growth. I'm working on a piece about Tesla. I talked about it the other day on our show. Some veterans better get on the ball because he's coming. Tesla is coming. Now, Ahmed, I like the growth I'm seeing from the young man. He's got a lot further jump to go to like get significant reps than Tesla, but or Tesla, I can't remember how you say it. But
Mayotron.
Yeah, Mayotron. There you go. Kristen Mahogany had me cracking up. What? I'm looking at the situation. I'm like, but I like what I'm seeing from him. He continues to grow, and he can work himself into back end of the rotation if he keeps his play like it is.
So, your best guess. I mean, I get there's some other veterans out there. We haven't seen them, at least in the preseason games. Mm-hmm. But if you're the Detroit Lions coaching staff, how hard is it to keep this kid off the field?
Oh, it's gonna be, if he continues to trend the way he's trending, it's gonna be really hard. Not as hard as it is for T-Slaw, but it's gonna be pretty hard for them to keep him off the field because you like what you see from him. He's aggressive, he's relentless, and he is taking what he learns in practice and then applying it, and then he's taking what he's learning from film and applying it. Like, he's a very coachable young man, so that's what I like about him. He has a great attitude, and 100%. He is going to be somebody to be reckoned with in the future for the Detroit Lions. The future is going to be bright for that young man if he continues to do what he does in practice and in the joint practice in preseason. Excuse me.
Now let's just take the Miami beat reporters' perspectives. The Dolphins are just getting, overly physicaled by the Lions, and then they talked about the Detroit Lions passing attack. There's a whole lot of talent out there, and the Miami Dolphins defense is struggling getting. This is one thing I was really happy to hear. They thought they were struggling getting to Goff, getting to the running backs in the backfield, and then if they can't get there, the Lions receivers, tight ends included, and running backs just were roasting that Miami Dolphins secondary. What do you think, or how good do you think this offensive line is going to be, let alone the entire passing attack?
If there's one position coach that I have faith in, is Hank Fraley for that offensive line. Once he get in, the return of Taylor Decker helped the offensive line as well. There's no kind of like ifs or ands or buts about that. Where you get the hello doggies. You get with the reports out of my performance center saying that it really helped when you got that veteran back there, back on the left side, and it kind of stabilized the offensive line. I like what I'm hearing coming out of the Allen Park as well about Tate Ratledge and Penei Sewell working well together. So I am happy to see that. Now, to be honest, Miami's secondary isn't that great. Like, their secondary kind of sucks. I mean, like, it is what it is. They got a lot of guys hurt. And it just kind of like, I'm not nothing to take away from our guys. Because I'm not going to downplay what the Lions are doing to that Miami defense. We'll never do that, but yeah, they just suck. And we just it compounds their suckiness when they play a great offense like we have. So,
well, the dogs were approving your commentary. They were barking with approval, but let's talk about the Lions D, because we all get that Brand Holmes probably put a few chips in the middle of the table saying, hey, we're going to take a gamble here on Davenport. that he can stay healthy, or whatever I guess the master plan is going to be for Marcus Davenport. Early on, though, whether you're a Lions reporter or a Miami reporter, everybody seems to be saying the same thing. He is making plays out there. How big of a win is it if he stays healthy?
Oh, it'd be a great win for the Lions. And I'm still not opposed to bringing back Z. I would love to rotate those guys in. You keep both of those guys where you can keep two veterans like defensive ends like that, and you can rotate them in and out, and you keep them fresh. That even keeps Davenport more healthy for the season. So, when you can maybe start one guy one game and they still can rotate in and out and get plenty of reps. But I like what I'm seeing out of Davenport. He had a great start to last season. He did. I mean, he was doing a really, really great job last season. So, I mean, he has that bull rush. He can set the edge for the linebackers, and I like what I'm seeing out of him. I'm not even wishing anything bad. I'm not even going to bring up the fact that people are calling him that, but because that's not his focus. His focus is just getting on the field and playing. Like he doesn't want to talk about that stuff. I'm sure he's tired of hearing about people calling him Diamond Hurt and everything like that. So, yeah. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I hope he can keep it up into the season.
We talk about Za'Darius, but at least it seems like it's been quiet for a while, other than Brad Holmes just saying, hey, we've had some level of communication over the course of the summer. Mm-hmm. What do you think the likelihood is that the Lions add Za'Darius back to the team, or Judon, or some other player we haven't even considered?
I think even with the young fellas doing well, that veteran presence makes a difference. And I think that it could be very highly likely that they add Big Z back or Judon. I think it's going to be Big Z. I just think that he's already in Detroit, and he has a following in Detroit. And he did well with the Lions last year, saying 4.5 sacks, and then his mentorship. Like he's a goofy dude. He's a little different. I think him and his girlfriend got back together after posting that they broke up for like a day or something. But I like Big Z on the roster. And as long as there's no egos, I think that he can coexist with a guy like Davenport, because Davenport doesn't have an ego. I mean, like he's a really subdued guy, so he doesn't really have an ego. So I would be in favor of them bringing a veteran defensive end just to kind of bolster the pass rush and
sure, and
make sure you have that good depth on the defensive line.
If you look, we're getting closer and closer, obviously, to the 53-man cut down date for the team or all NFL teams. Who are some people you think are really on the bubble with this franchise? Because there's depth galore. You're hearing about Cunningham, how he's playing, and just this guy, that guy, and everything in between. Who do you think really has got to look over their shoulder and go, man, these last couple weeks, I've got a ball or I'm out of here?
Yeah, Trevor Nowatzki is one of those guys. He could be with the emergence of Grant Stewart and Zach Cunningham. Those guys, man, they will definitely push him out. And then you look at a guy like probably Chris Smith, on the defensive tackle. You look at those guys that may be getting healthy and coming back. They may not push him out right away. He might make the initial 53-man roster, but his time may be limited. You got Mekhi Wingo coming back, and then on the line you got Aleem McNeil coming back, and then of course with DJ Reader and the young fella Tyleik Williams. That's a very heavy defensive tackle room. Offensively, on the offensive side, I think the guys that are going to be there are there. The one guy who's going to have to look over his shoulder probably the last couple games of the preseason, and it's going to surprise you because I like this guy. Netflix got to look over his shoulders because Jacob Sailors is an absolute stud. I mean, you look at this guy. He was the top rusher in the UFL the last couple of seasons. You look what he did with just a few practices.
Kurt might have locked up their signal. So, all right, we'll buy him a second or two and go through the comments until he returns. But there you go. You there?
Yeah,
you back?
Yeah, I'm back. So yeah, Jacob Sellers is a guy who could crack the 53 or at least be on the practice squad. But I mean, the guys on the offensive line, I think they're going to be there. I don't think it's going to be any big surprise in that room. Tight end room is pretty set as well with Zylstra and Wright and Laporta. Yeah, but those a couple of guys, man, like because everybody else on the roster that's there for camp, they know their camp bodies, man. Like they'll be practice squad players or they'll be signed somewhere else.
So when you look at the Lions, I'm struggling with this. We've had some injuries in camp, but nothing so far that's been overly egregious. Do you think, the Lions are they that physical in camp where you're going to have maybe a few more injuries than other teams? What are your thoughts on the injury bug? Because I know people are going to talk about it.
Yeah, stuff just happens, man. People are trying to blame the training staff or their conditioning staff, man. It just happens. I mean, it's a collision sport. Knock on wood, we haven't lost a big name like some other teams have lost guys to like knee injuries and Achilles and things of that nature. But the Lions, I mean, they practice. I mean, they said it the other day. They practice hard so the games are easy. So I get it, And if Miami thought they were going to come in there, come into the My Performance Center and get it easy, they were sadly mistaken. The Lions, I mean, they just play a physical brand of football. It doesn't matter if they're playing themselves or anybody else in a landfill, whether in a parking lot, wherever they're going to play is going to be a physical matchup. So
I'll go with that. And then the last thing I got for you this morning, yesterday on Rich Eisen, I don't know who it was. Somebody on the phone, could be a superfan, could be a reporter. I don't know, but he was one of a few people saying the Lions are going to finish the season with 7 wins. Go 2-0 to start, win 5 games the rest of the way. Do you see any situation where that could be possible? Apparently that question stunned Kurt. All right, we'll buy him in our second to his connection reemerges. James, unless that was fake news, what are we talking about here? Zedarius signed with the Bears? I don't believe that's accurate. I think that's probably fake news. All right, let's see. Going on to Leonard, I agree with Professor Hank Fraley is one of the best offensive line coaches. Super pumped he is with us. No doubt there, 100%. All right, there he is. There's Kurt Steele. You hear me?
No, there we go.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with my connection this morning. Okay,
I don't know where but 7 wins. Could the Lions do that? Only 7 wins.
Oh, no, man. The Lions are going to win at least 11 games this year.
I'll go with that.
11 games this year. Whoever said the Lions are going to win 7 games this year don't know football. They don't know ball. Like, and I'm sick and tired of all the coordinators are left and all this crap. And like, so the players are still there. Dan Campbell was still there. Like, I don't get this. Oh, they got a tougher schedule. Well, yeah, they were the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're supposed to have a tougher schedule. They're supposed to play the best teams. And they were beating the best teams last year. So, yeah, you can miss me with that one.
Last question, bonus question. I wanted to ask it earlier, but I didn't think about it or skip my mind. But last weekend's preseason game, we did see some signs of life out of Broderick Martin. Joint 1 practices, day 1, we got some signals that he was out there performing pretty well. End of the day, do you think Broderick Martin actually makes the 53-man roster?
I think he may make the initial, but I don't think he's gonna stay on the roster. I think he got too many guys that's ahead of him that's hurt that's gonna be coming back. So I don't think he lasts the whole season on the 53-man roster.
All right. He is Professor Kurt Steele. He is the host of the Most of the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Make sure once you're done here, you go check him out. Their show's going to be kicking off here in about 15 minutes. Check him out. Give him a subscribe. Give him a like. Kurt, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out to everybody about you, the channel, all things above.
Of course, man. Check me out, the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Going live today. Friday Lives are back. Got a special guest coming on. So come in and check us out, man. We're going to have some fun. Going to talk about these joint practices and get you guys ready for the preseason game on Saturday. So make sure you come and check us out, man. And of course, you can go check me out on on the cursehill.com. And I got a special announcement coming up soon. I'm going to be popping up somewhere else. So make sure you stay tuned for that one.
All right, hold on. Kurt Steele
Yeah.
dropped breaking news logo right there. All right, Kurt, you go have a great day. Go get ready for a show. We'll see you in about 15 minutes.
All right. See you, everyone. Thank you. Take care.
We'll see you now. All right, Bo, Glitch, Gremlins hitting Lions Talk Live. Yes, we've got news there too. Gary, want to see Manu rush on the goal line? Wouldn't that be something? Even if he could be a lead blocker. Johnny L, Iceman, they can dream about that, right? Nothing wrong with having dreams. Derek, I think we should be 2 injuries away from disaster on the offensive line. We need more depth there. Yeah, I don't think that they're done looking at adding to those positions. Thomas, my wish, exclamation point. They give Hendon the entire game. Why? Question mark, exclamation mark. Let him dig out of any issues he may get into. You got to find out now what he is. Again, Martin must dominate to stay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hey, Brock Martin, he's in control of his own fate at this point. Hey, I've offered my thoughts that he's basically back to 50-50. If he can have a good final 2 games, maybe he can push that to 60-70% that he stays, 30%-ish that he doesn't. Why, Pep? What do you got? I don't love taking a spot away from a guy who went through camp and give it to Zedarius, who's obviously prioritizing banging. All right, we'll go with that. Yeah, well, that'll be up to the coaching staff for sure. Bo, that's true of any team, Derek. I'll go with that. Kerry, although I thought the same thing on Henson. All right, Pat. What channel is the game on? That I don't know. I haven't looked into it just as of yet. Derek Trubo, but my depth would be amazing. It would be good. We'll go with that. Amy, everyone push those buttons and tell Flipper he is getting interrupted on every Lions channel. Exclamation point. Woo! Back at you. Good to see you this morning, Amy. Thomas also need to see back in the backfield. If he gets 8 to 10 carries for only 15 yards, I'm not going to freak out. He's got talent, just needs reps. Yes, indeed. Lauren, are you going to host any watch parties, Coach? I will once the season's here. Right now, my daughter's here. She's here until the 25th. So I'm just trying to spend as much time with her before she goes back home and goes to school. So unfortunately, we'll have to skip the preseason and get ready for the regular season. But true that, Derek. It's always about the rotation. I'm down with that. Parties, yeah, I knew you were going with that, Lauren. Derek laughing out loud. Exactly. I believe it is on Fox, says Johnny. Might be. I haven't really looked into it just yet. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, get you ready for the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as fast as possible. If you would be so kind before checking on out, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Be a good human being. Do something kind for someone you don't know. And we'll see you guys all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. You're still here? What are you doing here? It's over. The show's over. Go home.